The message is simple, but she has a lot of examples of how to apply it and the importance of its application. And just looking around the room and the energy level of all the participants, it was good value to have Sarah out here today.
We're looking for the extraordinary things that people do in their ordinary lives. And that's why we're here together today. Because in the 15 years I've been a coach, consultant, professional speaker, even in my senior leadership role, I'd see people with so much potential, so much talent, and they would get squashed. The energy of recognition, that is what matters. What am I listening for that's working? What am I listening for that that person needs acknowledging?
If there's one piece of advice you could give folks if they haven't been to a session on recognition, what advice would you give people?
You know, my recommendation would just to be really like take notice to the little things, because those are the things that do matter. And yes, it might be your job, but why not say thanks to someone, or why not, you know, say, look, you did, like, I really appreciate that, because you think those things, but you don't always say them, and the other person doesn't always get that. So yeah, that would be my recommendation, is just people to take a closer look at just, you know, seeing who they could recognize and just pay it forward.
Having each other's backs all the time and being connected and recognizing each other is really, really key, and that's what I hope people walk away from today, knowing that they have an organization that understands that and supports them and wants them to feel like we care.
I am great. That's awesome. So can we all agree? We're gonna do it by Friday? Can I hear? Let's do it. Let's do it. Awesome, that's great.
Wow, it was inspirational. I just think it was such a strong message to our staff. That frog concept is going to stick in my head forever.
95% or more people say, just tell me sincerely, thank you, to my face. Personal specific words of praise and a written thank you note. And you have just embarked upon a process where you are trying so hard as a culture to really honor that written thank you. And what I told Wendy, you've got a 24/7 operation. You're not going to see everybody, even perhaps in the next month, and you want to make sure everybody's appreciated and acknowledged right away. So a complaint is merely a poorly worded request, right? There's just really well masked greatness. It's like, hey, I'd like to be observed for, or I'd like to appreciate it for, or I'd like to contribute. And however that comes across, it's not that there's an intent to be disruptive. It's that I'm not sure how else to articulate to you what I want to contribute is, or I have this to offer. How does that set you up for your day when the very first thing you focus on is what went well and how can we do more of that? Is it easier to handle the learning and the challenge of what didn't work well if you've started with what worked well? And they ended up being the biggest turnaround story in the history of that organization. They were by 2 years later, with this incredibly concentrated work, 2 years later, they had a score that was the second highest engagement score in the entire organization.
What do you think they said? Yes! I mean, if I said to you, would you like to know how I'm weird, what would you say? I'm not going to tell you, but you want to know, right? Of course you would. So here she said, this wonderful teacher, Rachel, well, now that I've told you how I'm weird, I'm just curious, is anyone else here weird? What do you think they said? Yeah, but if there is, and they're in grade 3, like, we're being weird, sure, I'll tell you anything. Yeah, because the teacher asked me, no problem. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And they spent the next 10 minutes talking about how they were all weird. And so she said, so Sarah, I made this t-shirt up to remind us that being weird is as normal as having a nose, or brown versus blonde, or if you're in high school, blue hair, right? It's just part of us. So I started looking around. What do we do when we want some inspiration? We come to Spark, right? That's one of the places. Yes, shout out to Spark, right? We read books, we go on podcasts, we listen to speakers, we go to training, we go to do all kinds of seminars. We fill ourselves up with inspiration, with knowledge, with insights. And you know the common thing I heard when I wanted to, make a shift in my life? You need to change. Who here loves change? Couple people. That's awesome. We need a few people who do. That's great. The rest of us, change can be pretty intimidating. In fact, it can be so intimidating that we start and we stop. Sometimes it just feels so overwhelming we don't start at all. Because what happens when we've got those healthy judgments is it allows us to move into our best version of ourselves. Greatness, as I define it, is our talents, passions, and virtues that when we leverage those, we live into our full potential.